praise.
Remain standing for our vision statement. We welcome all as we create loving community, teach universal truths, practice spiritual principles, and live life abundantly. And our vision prayer. Together, we acknowledge that the universe is safely guiding Unity of Dayton into the future. We release all resistance to change, letting go of what was and embracing the new. We believe that the harmonizing power of love is showing us the way to navigate transition. Together, we walk in faith as we welcome what and who is to come, with open minds and hearts. Together, we are willing and we are ready now. Thank you, God, and so it is. Please be seated. Our opening prayer this morning. The love of God fills my heart with peace and sustains me in every challenge. I am immersed in the comfort of divine love that saturates my mind and body. With each breath, I release every concern in my heart and mind. In the midst of a storm, I remember Jesus' words, "Peace, be still." And I am filled with the calm assurance that God is always present and love surrounds me. I am anchored in peace, secure in knowing that spiritual peace is possible regardless of my circumstances. I focus on my spiritual nature, and I am empowered to express divine peace and love in any moment. Peace, be still, and so it is. And now we all get to stand up and sing Peace in Every Step. Considering today is 21 years since the 9/11 attacks, and it's also remembering the historical queen that we recently lost. The word today is remembrance. You live in my heart. Whether they have passed on recently or many years ago, the people for whom I have cared deeply are alive in my heart. If I feel sad or lonely for those I miss, I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made even ordinary days feel magical. Reflecting on the love and joy we shared and the blessing their lives afforded to me, I feel comforted. I am thankful that these memories will always be mine to treasure. I know that life does not end with death. Life is eternal, and my loved ones will always be beautiful, beloved expressions of spirit. I am grateful those who have passed from this life experience continue to live in spirit and are forever in my heart. And from Psalms 112, verse 6, for the righteous will never be moved. They will be remembered forever. Stand and sing Sacred Love. I keep fumbling your name because I mix Becky and Rebecca, and I try to put the two together all the time. So now we're going to prepare for meditation, and then Rebecca will take over the platform.
I remember who I am. Love is singing to us right now, isn't she? And it is good. It is good as we turn in to open to love, that we recognize that at the heart of who we are, that is what we are. And so we're just going to take a moment together, because it's amazing what we do together and how it impacts our experience. So together, let's each of us go inward and just be present with the love that we are, the love that gave birth to us, and the love that is our guide. Let us take a nice, deep breath and just welcome whatever came forth for us in this moment. And to know that wherever we are and always, that love is all that is, and it is there with us. It can't help but be, because it is the truth of who we are, as each of us is learning to discover that on our own. And so as we continue to breathe and listen to the music, just let ourselves remember the love that we are.
There is only
together now, right? Rise up. That's a great song. I really have enjoyed that song. It's a new day dawning. A new day dawning. And for that new day to dawn, and I apologize to all of you watching on the computer, I will walk back and forth, so I will try to stay focused on that. So, it's a new day dawning. But often, before a new day can dawn, what happens? What happens? Think of a farmer who's got to plant seeds, okay? And the soil itself is not ready for the seed. What does that farmer have to do? What? Till it? Exactly. They've got to till it. Or add worm, whatever they've got to prepare it. They have to till it. And often in the tilling process, what's happening to the soil? Yeah, it's being churned, isn't it? It's being churned. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to go that way, but that's been the traditional mode of farming. All right? And so for them to get into the soil, to plant the seed, they've got to do some form of tilling, some form of disruption, some form of having what is the status quo now, have a break in it somewhere. So in that break, something new can come in, something new can be made possible. And I don't know about you, but for the past couple of years, there's been a lot of disruption. Disruption in society. At all levels, we're seeing shifts and changes going on. And I don't know about you, but it can be quite daunting to look and say, how am I going to make it through all these changes? How am I going to move through so that I feel safe in the process of that transformation that we're moving through as a society, as a peoples? Because this is happening all over the world. That people in all countries are evolving in those ways that are pertinent to their countries. And we are growing in our care for ourselves, our care for one another, and our care for the earth. So we're seeing lots of shifting, lots of changing. We're seeing stuff come up in our face and we're going, whoa, I didn't know that existed. And then we begin to say, oh my gosh, humanity, how bad shape it's in, right? But so many of these things that we fail to realize have been happening under the surface. And they're now just coming to light. And the reason they're coming to light is because it's time. Yeah, it's time. We, in some way, are calling it forth. Because we are ready for something new. We are ready for a shift. The children coming into the world today are definitely going to call those of us who are here to a bigger picture. And so part of our work is to help prepare ourselves to be part of that bigger picture. So how do we do that? I want to give you an image. One of my favorite images is of a creek. And it's not like, one of those creeks that you kind of just hop across and you're on the other side, right? If you can hop still, right? But it's one of those creeks that's kind of wide, but you've got stepping stones along the way. But even though you've got this creek and you're on this side and you know you want to get to the other side, you're not quite sure of those stones. You're not quite sure of how am I going to get across this thing. I see the steps, and sometimes I don't. It's like, what am I going to do when I get to that step and try to figure out my next one? Well, part of what we do, right, physiologically, when we go to step, okay, to maintain our balance, what are we using to maintain our balance? Our center of what? Yes, there's a center of gravity that exists within everybody. Everybody has their own unique center of gravity. Now there are, like they say, men carry their center of gravity in their chest. Okay, the chest region. Women will typically carry their center of gravity lower, in their pelvic region. All right. And if you watch somebody, all it is saying that that's that fulcrum point around which everything can move, but when it's moving, you're in your strongest point. All right. If I try to move like my husband, I'll fall flat on my face. Okay. Because he's up here. Up here. I am not. That's right. I am not. I am much lower in my orientation. If he goes to step across, I can watch him step. And I go, ooh, look at that. He wobbled there. Ooh, look at that. Oh, and I can watch that. But if I attempt to jump it like he does, okay, and not pay attention to my own personal center of gravity, then more than likely, as successful as he was running and I'm doing the same steps, I'm going to fall flat on my keister, fall in the water, because I'm not paying attention to my own personal center of gravity. And so part of our journey here in this time is to learn to tap into our own center of gravity, but in a spiritual sense, I like to call it our own sacred center, our own center of alignment, our own center of balance, our own center of harmony. That place within us that when we rest, it's kind of like that fulcrum point, like the center of gravity is. It's a place where when we rest in it, we feel strong. When we rest in it, we feel a sense of harmony within ourselves, a sense of balance, a sense of knowing, oh yeah, this movement here for me, this way of seeing here for me, allows me to feel good in the movement that I take. Even though I might be unsure, there's resting within me as I pay attention, a balance, an integrity, that if I pay attention to it and I take my step, that I'm going to have more stability as I move into that step. And in these times, there's going to be a lot of this. There's going to be like being on that ball with the platform, right? And you're trying to balance. We've got to learn how to balance ourselves. Now, when we look at physiologically, somebody trying to cross a creek, or better yet, watching a child learning to walk or ride a bike. What do they do when they stand up? You know, they get their butts in the air like this. You know, and they get up and you see them, you know, trying to adjust. They're trying to find that center of balance in their body so that when they get up, it's like, okay. You know, but they're only going to know that center of balance when they do what? When they get up. They're not going to know it's sitting on their keister. It's the same with bicycle riding. I can remember when I discovered the center of balance in my body when I rode my bike. I loved watching my friends ride bikes, and I wanted so much to ride bikes with them. But I had to learn my own center of gravity. I could watch them. They could run next to me and say, you got this, and you can call me Becky, by the way. So, you got this, Becky. You got this. But even though they tell me, I'm the one that has to ride the bike. I'm the one that has to experience imbalance so I can understand what it's like for my body to finally find that level of, oh yeah, this is it. And I can ride my bike without falling down. And that's the same way spiritually. People can walk with me. I can walk with them. They can share their visions. They can share their ideas with me. But the only way I'm going to know what is meaningful to me and what works for me is to me to start to pay attention to that center point within my own being where I register that source, that life energy, that when I feel it, it feels an integrity. It feels good. Even if I'm in the midst of chaos, there's a stability in the next step that I've taken. And that's my job. That's my role as I'm moving forward. Is what is it that Rebecca needs in order to safely move to her next step? Now my friend's going to do something different. My point is, how can I encourage my friend to trust that peace, that essence within them? To learn to turn within and know that they have within them what they need to move forward. And that I don't have to operate like them, and nor they like me. It's like if you've ever walked, again, across a creek, and somebody goes to take a step, and they think they're stable, and what happens? Kaplunk. Okay? And so at that point, you're either sopping wet, skin-deep, whatever, and you can choose to go back, or you can choose to move forward. And you can choose to ask for help. Now, a person can stick out their hand and say, come on, I'll help you. You got to be willing to say, okay. Or, even though they can help you, you're the one that has to still do the work to connect with your center of gravity so you can get up and take the step to get back on. They're providing that level of stability enough so you can find your center again. And that's the same that we are when we're moving along our spiritual journey. There are many teachers out there. There are many companions that we have in this community that we can turn to, and we've hit a rough spot. We're frightened. We don't understand. All of a sudden, we've moved from feeling confident to moving fearful and in doubt. So what do? Maybe a friend shares a story and we can see something, an idea, that we go, okay, how can I get there myself? Or maybe they'll sit and we come together and we just talk. Or maybe we'll take a class. Maybe we'll engage in some way that together I can learn from them in that area right now that I am feeling a little insecure on, a little unsure. And that they can lend their hand out to me. They can't do my job. They can't carry my soul. That's not theirs to carry, and I don't need them to carry it. Because I need to find that in me. I need to know that at the center of my being, that is where God lies. That is where source is. It is what I am. It is what I have come from. It is what is unfolding and existing and living here and now, learning what it is to be human and to have forgotten what it is to be divine. And what it means to remember it. And so when somebody raises that hand to me, I thank you. Thank you. And as I'm taking that embrace spiritually, I'm at the same point evaluating and saying, how is this aligning with me? And so when we're thinking about moving through this time where there's a lot of instability, it may mean that we have to create a space where we can reconnect, where we can realign and remember who we are, what it is that we come from, and knowing that that love that they taught about, that love is constant, it is present, it never leaves. But it cannot do what? It can't insinuate itself in. It can't, step in and say, here, get out of the way, I'll take care of this. But the purpose of love is to recognize the presence of love and to encourage its evolution and evolve. And so when we're together here and we're supporting one another, we're in a place where we're creating opportunities for each of us to say, yes, you got this. You got this. It's okay to be afraid, and find that space and place within you that when you can take, that will enable you to take your next step forward. And it could be as simple as, I'm willing to be willing. I mean, I remember when I first started in my journey in New Thought and all this, and I sat with my minister and she said, are you willing? I couldn't say yes. No, I wasn't willing. Because I didn't know what it meant. The things that had kept me bound were the things that were in, like the veil that I was looking through, so I couldn't say yes. But what she gave me permission to do was say, I'm willing to be willing. Wow, that changed the game for me. Because yes, I wanted it, but I wasn't sure, but I am willing to learn, I am willing to step out. So that's what I mean. Sometimes the steps can be like that. Or sometimes they can be a leap, because by heavens we know and we are ready. Regardless of what's going on in here, there's something that rests at who we are, that we can rely on. But the only way we're going to do that is to cultivate that. Just like the only way a child is going to learn to walk is to get up and practice, right? The only way we're going to know as we grow and we shift and we change, that our body, we know our body's capable of taking the next step on that creek, is we've got to work with our bodies. We can't just sit and just say, okay, here you go. Our body hasn't had a chance to get to know what it feels like, what that center of balance is. And that's the same spiritually. So we need to really create that space for ourselves to get to know what it is to be in balance and in harmony. Whatever that is for each of us. And it's unique. And then once we're there, that's where, when Jesus said, love another as you love you. Right? So when we love another as we have loved ourselves, it doesn't take effort. It's just automatic. But in the process, we haven't lost a sense of where we are in the movement. And all we've done is created a hand for someone to do the work that they have to do with a little bit of help. Like those side rails on the side of this wall here. How many of you need that side rail when you're climbing up those stairs? Okay. But the stairs aren't walking for you. You got to be the one. We got to be the ones to walk. And so it's not only in our communities here, but it's also that we have support in so many ways. And the gift that when we turn within and get quiet, is that we get to begin to hear that support that comes through. It can come through whether you call them guardian angels, you call them guides, you call them spirits, whatever it is that people have all kinds of names. But whatever it is, you have that loving support. You have that loving support that's saying, I'm here, like a parent running by a kid on a bicycle. I believe you, you can do it, you've got this. But part of the process is learning this, and when we're learning this spiritually, we think we're alone and we're by ourselves and we're not going to be able to, move through the process and get to where we need to go safely. But we're always supported. And so when we think about what it is to balance, remember that in balancing, we're on this journey of change, and we are in significant change. It's that to turn within and then just find that center of balance. Get to know it. Offer support when others need it. Receive support when it's offered. The support won't walk with you, but it'll walk with you. Because that's the way that the Spirit of the Divine shows up. It shows up as each of us in service to our own journeys and in service to those who we are companions, with whom we are companions. And so when things are unstable, you don't have to walk it like somebody else has walked it. Acknowledge they're doing what they need. Take the time to pause and say, how do I want to take that step on that stone to move across that creek? How do I want to take my next step when somebody's out, with signs and fighting? Maybe that feels right. Maybe that feels right. But maybe there's something that says, it doesn't feel right for me. But it doesn't make the person who's standing out there wrong. They're following whatever's happening within them. Ours is to trust that which we are being called from within our own selves to take action on and to do. And so I hope that in this process of turning within, that you'll find what I know I have found is this stability. A stability that enables me to take that step. Even when things are crazy, it's like, wow, okay, I need to kind of just regroup here and remember there's something greater at hand that I can trust, I can get stable, and I can take my next step. And then we get to really experience the nature of the divine that we are. When we run from the difficulties, we don't get to experience the beauty and the magnificence of what we have and what we are capable of doing. So as we turn within and create that sense of stability and security and take that step, then we get to experience, wow, something about that which is source or God or whatever name you give it, that we've never experienced before because we've not been there to experience. And we realize, wow, we have a lot more available to us and we are more capable than we realize. So I just want to leave you with that, knowing that all of us are marvelously made. And if we want, we're invited to discover, even in instability, just exactly who we are and what we're capable of. And I'm grateful to be walking it with you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Now as the ushers come forward, let's prepare our tithes and offerings. Give the ushers just a second to get... Okay, let's hold our tithes and offerings in our hand and say our offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me,
coming back down, and I invite Becky to accept and bless our offerings.
Thank you. So just join me as we all bless these gifts. The gifts that we have here in these wonderful, beautiful royal blue baskets that available. And the gifts that will come electronically, and the gifts that will come in checks. So we just bless the abundance that this represents. The abundance that is life. The abundance that as we give it, we acknowledge that life, that plenty, that gift. And so we know that this financial gift that has been given blesses this community in wonderful ways. And it blesses the givers. And for this we simply give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you. We have a really busy fall coming up here at Unity of Dayton. Highlights of some really cool things coming. Of course, this Wednesday is our monthly drumming circle. Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. It'll either be inside or outside, depending on the weather. Bring whatever you want to make noise with. You want to bring a drum and beat out your frustrations and accept some joy. On Wednesday night. Our craft bazaar on November 12th. We still have tables available, but registration's coming in. So if you've been considering selling something at the bazaar, please get your registration form in so we can hold a space for you. Like last time, we were corner to corner. We had no extra room to spare. And we're also, as a part of the bazaar, we're having a very massive bake sale. And we need bakers, and there's a sign-up sheet out there for that if you'd be willing to bake something for the bake sale. Joanne, I think I saw you here earlier. Are you here? No? I could have sworn I saw Joanne earlier. Well, Joanne Welland has been heading it up, and she would love to talk to you. But if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me after the service. If you want to explore your spirituality with other spiritual seekers, plan to join Dora on any Tuesday this fall, starting September 13th through November 29th at 6:30. You'll be using Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers of Man as a base for your discussions. There's a sign-up sheet on the info table, and I know Dora's here. I know I saw Dora. Yes, she'd be loved to talk to you about it too. And also, if you're interested in learning more about Unity Foundations, there's a single session class connecting participants to Unity's foundational teachings and equipping them to discern their personal alignment with Unity teachings. It's being facilitated by Reverend Chase on Sunday, October 2nd from 12:30 to 2. It's for anybody who's interested in learning anything more about the history of Unity or the Unity of Dayton, but it is especially recommended for you if you're considering membership in Unity. And if after attending this foundation class, you make a decision to become a member of Unity, please complete the blue application form and turn it in by October 4th. And then on Sunday, October 16th, you'll be accepted into membership during the service. And next Sunday, coming up on the end of summer, let's have some picnic fun. It's Unity of Dayton's picnic, Sunday, September 18th. After the service, our Mighty Men's group is going to be providing the meat and grilling it. So all you need to do is bring a dish to share and bring your family. There's a sign-up sheet out there for it, just so we have an idea of how many people to plan for. And let's just have some end of the summer fun. And then if that's not enough food, on Friday, September 30th, we're going to have another weenie roast. So Friday evening at 7 o'clock, just bring, your family and something to share, and we'll cook up some hot dogs. On Sunday, October 9th, Jerry Blumgold is going to do something really special at the end of the service or right after the service. It's going to be an animal communication. Bring your animals to church that day, your pets. If it's not the type of pet you'd be comfortable bringing with you, bring a picture. Okay, and then after the service, we will have your pets blessed and have some fun with all of them. But it's perfectly okay to bring them to service. It's going to be a fun day. For all us pet lovers that are going to have to pet and talk to every single one of them. On October 15th, set aside that afternoon. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's a mystical afternoon. And for $50 at the door, at 1 o'clock until 6 o'clock, you can experience workshops around several different modalities. There will be intuition, theta healing, spoon bending, that'll blow your mind, reflexology, and kinesiology. You spend the entire afternoon working with all these different modalities, learning how to use them, experiencing them. It's going to be a marvelous afternoon. Plan on joining us and having some fun that day too. And I guess that will do it for now. There's all kinds of other things on the table you can sign up for and read about. It scrolls on here. It's on the website. It's on Facebook. So any questions about anything, just grab one of us and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. Let's close. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody online and remind everybody that you are the light of the world.